Okay, here we are with a late season update, early August, on the ram pump. It's been doing pretty good this year, so let's get right to it. So right now the ram pump's off, and it's off because the input valve is closed. You can still see it's maintaining some pressure at about 20 psi. So it's been closed all day while I've been at work, and so the system's pretty tight, no leaks, that's good. And when I open this valve, that's all I got to do to turn it on. Bam, there it goes. You can see the wastewater shooting up. And because there's no output valves open up top, you can see that it's steadily gaining pressure. About half a pound to a pound every pump. Probably about a half a pound every pump. And it tops out at around 40 psi. So in previous videos we've seen where the water comes from. There's a pond up there and there's a water line buried in it with a sediment filter, 1-inch pipe. Comes downhill, so gravity feeds, we open that, gets these valves going, opposing check valves, one normally open, one normally closed, and that gives us our ram action. You can see it disturbing the leaves over there every time it rams, because it's actually ramming all the way back up to the pump. But anyway, this is the outlet valve, which that's as open as I can get it in order to maintain back pressure and keep the pump running at this constant rate of about 40 beats per minute. If I open that all the way, it just becomes too much and it starts speeding up and then eventually stops running. Where it's set right now, it'll just keep going pretty much until it either runs out of water or breaks, whatever comes first. So let's see how we're doing up here. We come uphill to our post where we tee off our outputs. So right now nothing's open, which is why it's gaining pressure. When we open one of these valves, it'll lose a little bit of pressure, but it doesn't really tend to drop below 15 to 20 psi, which is plenty to do what I need it to do. So the first thing we're going to show you is the pig watering system. So this regular 5/8 hose comes off. Like we said before, there's a 1-inch poly pipe coming down from the pond. Then out of a pump comes a 3/4 pipe, and that reduces down, which is here, that reduces down further to a 5/8 pipe. And also 1/2-inch drip line, which we'll get to in a second. So here is the pig water. So all I'm going to do, the pigs are over there. I wonder if I can zoom in. I don't really know how to work this camera. Okay, so let's try turning on this valve and we'll see what happens. That valve's open, and look at that. Water is shooting straight up in the air into our pig pasture. Alright, and now with a simple adjustment of the valve, which I can see from where I am over here at the post, and I can also hear it. I can adjust it just enough until it falls right into their watering dish. Obviously they're pigs, so they knock this watering dish around, and I end up moving it back sometimes, but you know, generally this works pretty easy. This certainly beats hauling buckets or running my well dry. That ram pump's running entirely free of electricity or gasoline or any external power cost. It's just the gravity and the hydraulics of that pump, and it's pretty amazing. And again, the pond is fed by groundwater and rainwater and runoff from the mountain, so it's, you know, really no cost to me, and it's wonderful. And there's these guys doing pretty good. They got about another month, maybe 6 weeks. Probably slaughter them in the middle of September, and they're doing pretty good. Hey guys, and they're happy. They love the water. You can see some of it splashing out, dripping out, but it's actually really beneficial that it works that way, because at the same time that I'm filling up their water dish, it's running down and making a nice wet area for them to wallow in. So that works. It works out pretty good. So let's call that full, and they got plenty of mud over there. And we're going to turn off the pig water and turn on the drip irrigation for the garden. Well, you can still hear the pump down there kicking away, doing its thing. So we'll turn off the pigs and turn on the drip. And the drip, we're just going to go full blast because no reason not to. Alright, so then this drip line, this is just the main feed line. 1/2-inch poly pipe, non-perforated because it's feeding these perforated lines that are teeing off of it. So the first one we come to has a little ball valve because I'm anticipating on picking the onions pretty soon. So I want to be able to shut this off so I can keep watering other stuff that will be a little later. So this one comes over to the onions, and I've got a couple lines running in here, and we can see they are dripping. Not bad. The onions did really well this year, with the exception of the fact that I got a whole bunch of voles. So you can see this is some of that Molmax castor oil stuff. Doesn't work at all. What does work is I dug down around this entire thing on one of the hottest days of the year, about 18 inches down, and I sunk this hardware cloth all the way around this whole dude, and that instantly stopped the problem because they don't really climb and they're not going to dig below, 6 inches to a foot or so. So that was a good solution for that. So we also have a drip line in our carrots, and the carrots seem to be doing really good despite the lack of rainwater this year. We got some decent looking carrots. There goes one. Stop it, Colby. And then we had another line running into the cauliflower, which is not doing so well. But red cabbage and green cabbage is starting to head up, so that's pretty exciting. And we have another drip line into our rainbow chard, which some of it's doing better than others. We got some red Russian kale. It is really doing great. Got hit by bugs. I don't really care. I still eat it. It's just holes. Some lacinato or Toscano kale, and then some Siberian green curly that's doing really good too. And I've been picking off these pretty much every day, and they come back to about the same size by the time I go to pick again the next day. It's pretty amazing. So I'm hoping to be harvesting off these into snowfall, which I think is a reasonable goal. Here we got our potatoes. I sprayed them with neem oil kind of in the early to mid season when they were starting to get hit by potato beetles. I haven't had any potato beetle problems, but I didn't irrigate here, and maybe I should have because they're all kind of dried up, and I think I'm just going to call it and mow this over and harvest all those potatoes. Got about 5 rows of potatoes in there, and at this point I don't think, with the tops being the way they are, I'm going to get too much more out of it. They're just getting overrun by weeds. So then the tomatoes, they exploded. They're doing great. We got the atomic cherries. None of those have ripened up yet, but they're getting pretty close. Some of these down here are almost there. The indigos, I literally just gobbled up 4 of them that were big and beautiful and ripe. These ones aren't too far behind. They go from like a purplish green to like a red with like a blue purple spot on them. And sun golds, again, I just gobbled up a bunch of those, but there's a few that are ripening up, getting ready, and there's a ton more behind them, which is awesome. So yeah, tomatoes did really good. And then more atomics again, and then corn looks like it's not doing too bad. I didn't really know about the whole planting in rows thing, so I only planted 1 row, which was clearly a mistake. But I've been breaking off the tendrils and collecting them and making a little brush and hand pollinating on all the silks. I think that's what you're supposed to do. If anybody knows anything better, let me know. But I am going to try to plant in at least 4 rows next year to wind pollinate them a little better. But they do seem to be forming ears and they're sizing up. I haven't looked inside, but I mean, this one's got 2 of them on there, and each one has at least 1 big ear on it, so it's looking good. Over here I didn't irrigate, but I do have, I did water with the can sometimes. I got a nice big fennel there, some summer squash and zucchini, and then this bed was all garlic, which I've already picked and is hanging in the barn over there curing. And then over here is my winter squash, a bunch of butternut and delicata that I also did not irrigate. It seems to work pretty well in these tires. I don't think it's toxic for me. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm still alive. I've been eating it for a few years. But it's nice because it doesn't make them take up so much horizontal space because they have to kind of fall out of the tires before they start spreading out. So it allows me to not take up a whole lot of area and still have them do their thing. I feel like the tires really warm up and warm the soil up, and it gets them a good jump on the growing season in the spring when it's still cool. So that is pretty much everything. Ram pump is a success. I'm gonna take it out as soon as I harvest the last of my tomatoes probably. I mean, I could probably even turn it off, I guess, after I kill the pigs. I could probably get rid of it, to be honest with you. Get rid of it, I mean winterize it, break the whole thing down, drain the tubes, and I'm gonna store it inside during the winter and open it up and see what parts need maintenance, see if anything's worn out or anything might be replaced by a better part, and take it from there. But so far, success. Ram pump, I love it. If you have any sort of drop in your terrain in your property and you want to get some rise for free and send water somewhere else, by all means do a ram pump. It's the only way to go. I highly, highly recommend it. So, on that note, I hope everyone has a happy growing season and a wonderful harvest season to come. Goodbye.